Hi, this is Uncle Riotous. It's my first attempt at a vlog. This isn't the first time I've tried to record this particular vlog, but hopefully this time I'll meander a bit less and be happier with what I'm actually saying. I'm going to blog post this as well because that's a format that I'm more familiar with, so I'll post the link to that down below. I think the thing that's going through my head at the moment is around use of dehumanizing language, particularly with NPCs, with populations. I'm aware of a lot with dehumanizing language. It's the most common way language that people try and separate themselves from other people. You see it with even silly things like debates on edition wars. People use labels and tags to be able to separate themselves from other people. If you look in politics, we do it. If you look at economics, we do it. Certainly, if you start looking at soldiers, if you start to look at the military, if you start to look at torturers, all of those people are taught very specifically to dehumanize those people that they want to view not even necessarily just as enemies, but as different from them, so that they don't have to feel bad about what happens to them. I'm interested, obviously, because I'm posting this where I'm posting it, on how that applies to role-playing games and on how you use that to, or the conscious knowledge of that, to portray your NPCs. I'm going to leave player characters aside. I think that's a whole other topic that I'm not going to get into. So yeah, I think that's why we hear racist language. That's one of the most common uses for racist language, is you're dehumanizing somebody who has a different skin color to you, has different beliefs than you do, whatever the division line is. So if you want to try and make your NPCs more believable, especially in groups of NPCs, then finding common language, that common turns of phrase that everybody uses, that strikes me as a realistic way of doing that. And if you pick 4 or 5 phrases and you make sure that a particular group of population, whether that be bandits in a tower on a hillside that are constantly attacking this one village or town, how do they separate themselves from the pain and the suffering that they cause? One of the ways they're going to do that is to dehumanize the town, make them weak in their minds, make them stupid in their minds, make them other than human. Even if there's not racial, obviously if you're playing D&D or fantasy role-playing games, yeah, they could be orcs and it could be humans or elves or whoever, but even if the races are the same, they need to feel a difference there. But you get the same thing in towns, even in towns where you don't have actual warfare going on. If you go to the poor district, the way they view the rich people. If you go to the immigrant quarter, both the way that they are viewed by the rest of the town and the way they view the rest of the town, there will be specific turns of phrase that they will use, and the purpose behind that is to both bind their cultural identity and give themselves validity, but also to push other people away so that the people that aren't part of that cultural binding are less human, less worthy, and we don't have to worry about them, and they are the enemy and they're attacking us. I think I've probably said about all that I need to say. I mean, obviously, it applies if you've got monstrous humanoids. Probably the biggest trope out there is orcs using terms like human scum or puny human or that kind of that kind of language. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about. But just taking it and consciously thinking, okay, especially if you've got a game that's it's any way, shape or form political, if you've got groups within a population that have friction with one another, think about that dehumanizing language that they use. Think about the jingoism that they use. Think about what they use to tie themselves together, what beliefs they have about themselves, these kind of national legends. And then think about how they would use those to separate themselves from other people verbally, so that they get used to talking about these people in a way that makes them lesser people. That's about it, really. Like I say, I'll put the blog post up, which will probably be more succinct, less rambly, but I wanted to get an actual vlog out there. So if you've made it to the end of this, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I'll be very interested to hear. Thanks very much.